Hi, this is Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live, number 28. Welcome to our live stream broadcast today. I'm going to make a little presentation and then I'll do a question and answer. And today I've got to end just a minute before the half hour is over. So I got to get out of here about 25 minutes after the hour. And so D&D series, I really would like to get to your question, but let me talk about my headlined subject today. And the headline subject today was what's the difference between a really intense pharyngeal nay, nay, nay and a head voice nay, nay, nay. And this was a question was asked me by one of my subscribers on YouTube. And it was a great question. Really, I really enjoyed the thoughtfulness of this. Very interesting video, he said, regarding episode number 44. I noticed the way you do the nay, nay, nay exercise is a bit different than what the other vocal coaches do on YouTube. They usually use the pharyngeal resonance, and the sound is much more brighter and louder. Yours seems very quiet and is very heady sounding. It's almost impossible to sing with this kind of sound. Are you doing this intentionally? If so, then could you please tell me the difference between head voice nay nay versus the pharyngeal head voice nay nay? Okay, now I hope that is so let me go into depth a little bit here. This might be a little bit of a geeky episode, vocal geekiness. First of all, there's a couple reasons why I use the nay, nay, nay. The basic reason I use the nay, nay, nay is to connect the chest voice to the head voice. In other words, if I have a new singer and they're having trouble getting through the bridge, and they say, and it starts to break as they get to the bridge, and this is so common, so very common with many voices, and it's almost universal with the teen boy, but it's so very common even in the female voice. They would be up here, and they said, and so my first goal is to help them connect chest to head. And so one of the tools that I use is this little bratty or witchy sounding nay, nay, nay. Once I am able to establish connection and that connection becomes routine or habit, then I want to discontinue using a bratty pharyngeal nay, 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 the bratty, witchy, nay, nay, nay. So it's a temporary tool. Because it's temporary, and also because I study periodically with Seth Riggs, and I've seen this with Seth. Well, actually, it's very interesting. Early on in my training, I saw many of Seth's teachers do it very, very hard and a very strong pharyngeal sound. So let me illustrate what that would be. If I said nay, 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 that would be close to what I was first introduced to when I began studying this technique. But I confess that I didn't really see Seth do that. I saw a lot of his teachers do that. And either that scale or nay, 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 nay. And for sure, it did do the job. It would connect the chest to the head voice without any break in the tone. Here's the problem. The problem was that once we got it connected up and it became routine, what was left over was a lot of excess tension that I had to get rid of as a teacher. And we could get rid of that over time. But if we had a minimum dosage, so to speak, just the minimum effective dose. In other words, what is the very least I could use to get the goal that I'm looking for? The goal I'm looking for is a connection. So that is a connection of the tone from head or from the chest voice to the head voice. So if I can get it like nay, 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 now I have much less tension. In fact, I have very little tension. If I'm really careful with it, nay, 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 I have very little muscular involvement there. And so the bottom line is I don't have to get rid of as much tension, and I can still, and the student's still keeping that connection from chest to head, which is such a wonderful goal. And I don't have to eliminate as much of the bad habit of only being able to connect chest to head with a really intense muscular, pharyngeal sound. Now that's one application, and that's the primary application I use. Now there are other applications for the pharyngeal sound, and for example, if I have a student who's interested in R&B or doing a gospel sound, and they want to take that really high, or even I've had students who are very interested in more of a rock in their, in a band or something, then I'm going to, there's going to be more pharyngeal. But even then, I'm finding that it can get very connected, quite strong, without as much tension in it. So if I tried to do the, well, here's the C to C. Nay, 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 nay. So I've just learned that by doing less, it seems like I can get more. And I can't take credit for that. I'm learning that from Seth Riggs, but I'm seeing it in my own hands with my own students, that similar kind of result. Some really actually wonderful things. Now, I would like to, there is a book that I can refer you to, and I apologize, I can't, on this, I haven't quite figured out how to turn your head sideways, and this is the name of the book, Voice of the Mind by Cesare. And I thought I could turn this sideways, but I can't figure out how to do it, so you'll have to turn your head sideways. But if you'll look at this diagram here, you'll see a diagram in the middle of the page. And if you tilt your head a little bit sideways, you can read, this is a diagram of the vocal cords. Now this is a theoretical diagram. Okay. I've just been informed that my sound is a little bit off with my video. I apologize. I don't know how to fix that. So we're just going to suffer through it today. So you'll notice on the diagram there's a falsetto layer, a pharyngeal layer, and a basic layer. Now just keep that in mind as I go back to, I'll try and illustrate that. So if you take the vocal folds, the vocal cords, and let's just say this is how they work from bottom to top, they're vibrating. Now let's just take the vocal cords, take one side away, and now this, let me go this side. This is what you have left over. This is the diagram that you're looking at. So this top part here would be the falsetto. This part would be the depth of the pharyngeal, and then the rest of this would be the basic voice. So the pharyngeal, when I'm working with a student, I'm not working in the falsetto area. Nay, 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 which would be up here, nay, 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 nay. It would be nay, 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 nay. So you can see it's deeper into the vocal cords than nay, 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 falsetto, nay, 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 nay. But imagine then if I can connect the voice up from chest to head, and then all I have to do is say, nay, 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 nay. Now I'm able to get the full depth of the vocal folds cords producing tone quality that is connected from chest to head. That's my primary use of that. And as I mentioned, there are times when, depending on the genre, where we may need to add a bratty sound. Now, another place where I would maybe add a bratty sound is if I were doing a character role, or I was teaching a character role to a student. Let's just say that there's, I had a student who in high school, their high school put on Oklahoma, and she played Ado Annie. Ado Annie is a great role, but she's got kind of an affected sound. At least she does in the movie, and so everybody wants to do that. So it sounds like, I'm just a girl who can't say no, that kind of a sound. Or Adelaide from Guys and Dolls. A poison can develop a cold, that kind of a sound. And so we can do the same kind of pharyngeal sound to get that kind of a character sound. And because you're thinning the vocal folds, and you're eliminating some of the vibrating elements, and not as much of the vocal folds are involved, then you're taking some of the weight out, and it's easier to do, and you don't damage the voice that way, which is the same principle behind doing the high rock stuff and or the high gospel sound. So that's kind of the logic behind what I'm doing with the pharyngeal, and the reason why I'm going lighter than heavier is so that I don't have to take out as much tension and unlearn maybe some things that we are going to prevent us from our best singing in the future. Okay, end of my story. But I just wanted to kind of clarify. It's a great question, and I hope that that's somewhat helpful. So the difference between, let me try and finalize that. The difference between head voice, nay, 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 versus pharyngeal head voice, nay, 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 they both resonate in the same place, head voice. They're resonating in the head. The pharyngeal is just, there's more extrinsic tension, and the larynx is probably higher. And the lighter one is less tension, and I don't think the larynx is rising as high. And to follow that, it's easier to get into more of a normal voice, to drop the pharyngeal because it's been less intense. So I hope that's helpful. All right, now, your video and audio aren't synced. Well, again, I'm sorry. Okay, so let me start at the top here. And I know it's maddening to have sound off. So look away. And, I don't know what causes it. I would like to just a couple shout outs. Carolina from Sweden. So great to have you here today, Carolina. And Arthur from Paris. Hi. Okay, so D&D series, hello. I have one very important question. And it's, how can I improve my pitch? This is a really tough question. I don't have a really great answer for how to help you improve pitch. Okay, so my assistants are telling me that the sound is realigning. So thanks, Carolina. You're confirming that. Good. Well, let's talk about pitch. Pitch is a toughie. All right, so here's how you improve your pitch. Number one is you take piano lessons or violin, or maybe another instrument of some sort that has a melody line. You listen to a lot of good music. You sing as much as you can with radio, and you listen more, and you listen to really good music. You listen to the classics. You listen to great singers, and but admittedly, I'll have a 5-year-old come. I'll have 2 5-year-olds show up in my studio, which I don't do often, but this has happened before. And one 5-year-old can sing every note as if she never had to try to do it. I mean, she just had this natural ability to sing every single note right on pitch, just perfectly. And the next 5-year-old can't find the pitch. There's just no way they can even tune it in. Or I'll have a student. Just forget the age. I'll have a student come in and I'll say, sing this. Ah, and they'll sing, ah. Well, now we're faced with ear training. And frankly, I'm not necessarily I teach people how to sing. I don't necessarily teach them how to find the pitch. That being said, I've got about 4 students right now who I do some of their lesson with ear training. And so one of the things I've been recommending, is to visit a website, and that website is called Errol, E-R-O-L. Let me see if I'm going to try and do this without. I'll bring this up for you so you can take a look at it. And I don't know who these people are really. I can only say that. Let me see here if I can get this up for us. Here's their website. This is a ear training app that you can download to your smartphone, and you can see here on this, the way this works is they have notes here on the page, and you sing along with this, and it maps out where you're singing in comparison to the notes. And so as you're doing that, you get a score. It'll tell you what percentage of these notes you reached. And by working with this app, I've found some improvement with my students, because it helps them see the note on the page, see their voice in relationship to the note, and it helps them understand whether they're far below or above or like they're right on it. And that starts to help them associate their voice with the pitch. So it plays the pitch, and you have to sing it and try and match the pitch. I would recommend either this app or go online and search other ear training apps. I think this one is expensive. Someone checked it the other day and they said it was around $25 or something. I thought it was free. There may be some free edition of it. So you can check this out or other apps, and there are a lot more available on probably on your desktop that you can do ear training with. Aside from that, there's no easy answer. If you want to learn how to sing, you're going to have to work at the pitch, and that's a whole separate skill than having good vocal quality. Chances are you have a good sounding voice, but we won't care if you can't sing the right notes. They would say, well, he has a wonderful voice, he just wasn't singing the right notes. And of course, then that's not what we want. It's not what we want to hear as a listener. So it's a challenge. You can learn to sing, but you're going to have to work 2 to 3 to maybe 10 times harder than that little 5-year-old who came in and doesn't even have to give a thought about pitch. I'm sorry, but that's the facts. And I know there are some people out there who that's their specialty, and unfortunately I don't have any references to give at this time. Something I probably need to do. All right, so let me get back to the questions here. I hope that helps. It's a hard one. Mangus, I hope that that answers the question on what the head voice nays do. If anybody else has any recommendations on ear training, please put them in the comments for D&D series. Azag, hi, how are you? We're trying to work some difficulties out today together, so I'm hoping that you get some solution there. So Mangus asked me to demonstrate the high rock sound again. This is not my genre, but yeah, so if I go to that, nay, 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 nay. So if I say, nay, 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 nay. Well, that's, I mean, it may not be exactly like some of the rock guys, but I can get pretty aggressive with that sound. Now, I didn't put a lot of tension in that. That's that little heady, less tensioned nay, nay, nay. Okay, I still can't find my head voice. Hope you can give me some advice. Okay, Andre, you can't find your head voice. It's likely, so I without hearing you, I can only guess that you're stuck in chest. Or it's just, and there's a difference between head voice and falsetto, or that you can't get the vocal cords connected into head voice. Falsetto is a disconnected tone, head voice is a connected tone. So the easiest, well, what I recommend, if you can, go to my website, which is powertosing.com, and if you'll go to this powertosing.com, and there's a power test called the power test. It's a vocal test. This video will explain it. You start a recording. And so it's going to record your voice. You start playing this with the, you connect on this. Be sure and connect women and children. And then, or if there's a guy listening and hasn't done this, you click on the men, whichever you are, you click on that voice, and then you start playing, and it'll give you a piano accompaniment. It sounds like this. For the guys, the ladies will be up here, and you sing ah, ah, and it'll take you up to the top of your bridge, and then you can take the quiz. After you can listen to it, play it back, and then you answer these questions, and then you submit your answer, and then you'll get your vocal type. Now your vocal type is probably going to explain why it is that you can't get into your head voice. So for example, it may come back pulled chest, high larynx, which just means that you're not transitioning, or you can't transition into head voice. Or it might come back light chest, no chest, which just means you're so breathy there isn't any, there's no difference between the bottom and the top. It's just all breathiness. Or a flip falsetto might mean that you're breaking or just letting go into falsetto as you go higher. And then if you're mixed, well, in your situation, if you can't find your head voice, you won't be mixed because you need mix with chest. So then, once you get your vocal type, and you can also email it, or you can also send it to me, and I can listen to it and send it back to you. Then go to the Knowledge Center on the website, and there's each one of these vocal types. You can go to its own page, watch the video. I explain exactly what's going on with pull chest, high larynx. I give you exercises that help you not pull chest and not have a high larynx. And then these are examples of, professional singers who have the same problem, and many of them have had surgery on their vocal cords because of this problem. So that's the answer, I would say, because that's going to help you and anyone else who's having this same difficulty and this same challenge. So I recommend that you do that. These exercises, there are free exercises in the Knowledge Center that you can download. I should have shown those to you, but they're there in that Knowledge Center. You can download, and they're going to help you get into your head voice. And it's all free. I have trouble going smoothly. This is James, going smoothly from head voice to chest. From head voice to chest. Going from chest to head is smooth, but not vice versa. So James, I'm only supposing then that when you're in your head voice, it sounds like this. That there's a break. And if there's a break when you're coming from your head voice, you're not in head voice. You're in falsetto. That is, the tone is disconnected. So somehow on the way up, you've managed to disconnect the tone. Because if you're in head voice, so it's likely that your vocal type is either pole, chest, high larynx, so you crack or break into falsetto. Maybe you're not feeling it on the way up. Or the other possibility is on the way back down, the larynx is coming up. Let's suppose you are in head voice. But the larynx comes up on the way back down and it cracks. So one temporary solution is to add kind of a dopey sound, whatever it is. Let's just say, for exercise, let's say you're doing the exercise, mum, mum, mum. Just add a little bit of dopey sound, mum, 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 or gee, 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 or yee. That dopey sound will impose the larynx down. Okay, we're getting a bunch of questions, and unfortunately, I've got to wrap it up because I have a Skype lesson at 2:30 that I have to get on to teach. Yes, D&D, thank you. James, again, if you haven't gotten your vocal type, this might help you. The same explanation I gave earlier, because we can get rid of that break going back down in the chest. Thanks, I appreciate your thank you. Your teaching style is so good. D&D series again, I appreciate that. I just want to thank you so much. I wrote you in another live session. I had lost my voice and needed help to get back and ready for an 8-hour session. Needed help to get it back and ready for an 8-hour session. You really helped me. Good, Carolina, thank you. I appreciate that. Terrific. I always thought that the rock voice was in mixed voice. Do you mind demonstrating a rock mix? Lastly, what exercises should I do in order to achieve a proper rock voice? You know what? I don't know how to define a proper rock voice. I really, I'm not, I just can't, I'm sorry, I don't have the words to explain it. Because I've had people say, well, I need more gravelly sound. I teach people how not to have gravelly sound. So I don't know what, I don't know exactly what to tell you about that. A rock voice could be in mix, or it could be in falsetto, or a rock voice, it might be pulling chest voice up. A rock voice is a description of a style, and mixed voice is more of a description of technique, and head voice technique, chest voice technique. So we're kind of mixing apples and oranges here, and that's probably why I'm having a little bit of a challenge trying to explain the difference, because it's one's a technique and one's a style of singing. So sorry, Mangus, I can't get more detailed than that. All right, I've got to run. Thank you very much for joining me today. This is Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live number 28. You can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. I'll see you inside the next video or the next live session. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.